Welcome to NasCanucks. It is Tuesday, May the 11th, 2021, 8:01 p.m. Eastern, 5:01 p.m. Pacific, presented to you by Vibraprint.
Hey, he's a three-time winner. He's a runaway train, been smoking his tires in victory lane. Ain't it great to be a true X fan? Throwback song. One line.
Because we are talking throwback. Throwback weekend, which used to be Labor Day weekend. And then they said, I'm pretty sure they just said, screw it. Let's do it every race at Darlington now.
Well, no, I think they went this weekend because they didn't want, because they're now in the chase. That
right.
They wanted teams to focus on not the chase, the playoffs.
Really? So they're not running Labor Day weekend anymore?
Yes, they are, but they want teams to focus on
the playoffs are that early? They're into Labor Day?
Yeah.
Fuck. I guess so. Huh. Well, there you go. All right. Well, whatever. Well, no doubt that is early. Yeah, usually they start mid-September because it's only 10 weeks. Used to go till the end of November, but whatever.
Yeah. So there is some teams, though, that will be running a throwback scheme Labor Day weekend.
Yep. Especially those that came for the Rebrap Stars.
Wood Brothers being one of them.
Nice. Yeah, I saw they're voting on that now.
Yeah.
Hello to Terry's 3Gs and Jeremy Smith.
Obviously, Jeremy missed the start of the show.
Yeah. At the end, watch the first minute. That's all I'm saying. So, throwback weekend. Started off with the Truck Series. Quickly re-becoming my favorite NASCAR touring series for a variety of reasons. But we saw a variety of throwbacks. Do you have a favorite throwback from the Truck Series?
You got Friesen with the Richmond scheme, with the Tim Richmond scheme.
Yeah, that was cool. The Tim Richmond scheme. I like that.
Who was it? The
22 Pennzoil truck. I thought it was a Steve Park at first, but no, it was actually it was a Tony Roper or Tony Raines. Sorry, throw it. That was nice. That was cool to see.
There was the Jeff Bodine throwback.
Jeff Bodine throwback from the Lumber Liquidators. Yep. And there was one throwback that I'm sure you liked, and it ended up in Victory Lane.
Yes.
The Jason Leffler throwback. Which at first I was like, did they get Team ASC on board? But no, because it was an unsponsored name and spoof, which handy that you could do that. Which beats seeing those plain white trucks out there. Like, we're like, are they brand new trucks? You only had time to put the numbers on them? Because that's what they look like.
More on that later on.
So, get into it. Trucks, 147 laps of chaos. And you know what? You pretty much, it was, I would say, a lighthearted, few guys got stripes, few guys got into each other, nothing too major until, just fast forward to 30 laps to go in the race. Then we had the big one where it was commented by Greg Biffle. He decided he was up there to do one segment, and they said, do you want to stick around and call the rest of the race? Because clearly more than Michael Waltrip standing next to me, Adam Alexander said. And Michael Waltrip agreed, so Greg stuck around, and we got extra dose of the Biff, and I missed the Biff. Doug and I were texting about it when I was watching the race.
Fox Sports 1 missed the Biff as well. Off the start.
Fox Sports 1 doesn't like to do pre-race anymore.
All they had to do was the parade lap.
Yeah, well, they don't. Yeah, no, we'll just... Half the time they do it. They've been even skipping national anthems on occasion, which I've been shocked at.
They have, yes.
Usually we'll just get the command. So obviously they do some form of pre-race show that isn't included as part of the pre-race show. Usually you just start your broadcast half an hour early, folks. Just saying. And another reason for that's good? You're threatening weather. You can bump the startup by half an hour, and everyone's already tuned in. Boom. Whatever. So, missing from the Truck Series, we had touched on it last week. Young Lassard, out of Quebec, was not competing. I did hear he's going to be doing some stuff later in the year.
He hasn't cut ties with GMS.
Well, not just with them, but with another team. He's already hooked up with another team.
Okay, yeah, I know he's.
But it's like the Norm Benning type team. Speaking of Norm Benning,
how about that moving chicane?
The moving chicane. Which the deal at Darlington, hold your line if you're slower. There's a lot of fall off at that track. Like we've seen a lot of cars that just scrubbed the wall a bit in the years past and couldn't maintain minimum speed anymore. And Norm, he was right there at that minimum speed, right at the minimum.
Oh yeah, like there was even like the door we talked before. The door bumper guys were talking
Don't
about
blame
it.
Norm Benning for Joe Nemechek or John Hunter Nemechek or both Nemecheks even. Either one of them running over him from behind because the asshats at NASCAR, it looks so cool in the setting sun. Yeah, until you got to drive into the setting sun and can't see shit. And you left the spotters in last year's spotter location. Where were the spotters, Doug?
They were up in the stands where they were last year, which was fine. There was no fans in the stands last year. Okay, you got. Yes, he does suck. He sucks big time. 4'2" TJ Majors. He can see fine
when there's no fans.
Well, on a restart, Haley Deegan, you're on your own because what do fans do on restarts? We stand up.
Oh,
and what does poor TJ Majors see? The back of someone's head.
This is what TJ Majors' view every restart was, folks.
Yeah,
and he was standing on his cooler too. I heard, but that's all he saw.
So apparently, I know Freddie Kraft talked about it as well. They went to NASCAR, and they were moved. They were not in those same spots for
smart move.
The Xfinity and the Cup race.
Yeah. So I know John Hunter won the second stage. Don't remember who won the first stage.
Yeah, I can't
remember
either.
Yeah, and it was, every time it was interesting. I can't believe how many, and all weekend, how many idiots stayed out on the track when having the opportunity to pit. Why do I call them idiots? Because after one lap, your tires fall off. And as a result, every restart, we always had 2 to 4 trucks or cars or whatever out for it because it was all weekend. That as soon as they dropped the green, they might as well have been on black ice because they hit the gas, but nothing happened. They did not move forward until somebody gave them a bump, essentially.
And we talked about this earlier as well, too. And that kind of was the combination of bad effects for that lap with 30 to go restart. Where
it was bad, took out like half the field. And I hate to say it, but Stuart Friesen was the majority at fault on that one. The guy running next to him in fourth wasn't helping matters, but that guy in front of him kind of saved it. And he would have saved it had Stewart not hit the other guy that went in.
And to that guy in front of him, Corey Haim.
Great debut in the series.
Yeah, it was his debut. Yes.
Yeah,
he's won the he won the Daytona and the Talladega ARCA races.
I knew the name was familiar. So, yeah, that was great to see. And then Mr. I don't need Camping World as a sponsor. Sheldon Creed wins the race.
Yes.
In the 2 truck.
And I rewatched his post-race interview. And I have to say that my attitude towards him has changed. I've seen that whole interview in a whole new light after what has come out in the last day.
Yeah, I used to be a Sheldon Creed fan.
Yeah.
Well, I guess am I still I am. Yeah, I'm still a Sheldon Creed fan. Not a fan of his team.
So we're talking Truck Series. Do we want to get into that now? Because we are talking.
Well, we might as well, because we're a third of the way through the show. So let's get.
Okay, so
we'll do that.
So what's going on there is we remember back to Vegas. Marcus Lemonis put out a tweet saying, "Hey,
that's the owner or running Chief Bow Washer Camping World." For those who don't know,
if you're an unsponsored truck, tweet me back. I will give you money to put And I think he did put the 15K out there.
Yeah.
Sponsorship.
Yeah, it worked as 15 grand to start the race. Top 10, it went up to like 20. Top 5, it was 30. You win the race, you got 50 grand.
Yeah.
But only 15 of which is guaranteed. That's a big factor.
Yes. So, and in that 15, you had to pay to wrap your own truck with Camping World.
Yeah, but that's in every sponsor, Doug. I wouldn't even mention that.
Okay, well, yeah. So that goes on.
I'll tell you. So here you go. 15 grand will get you $3,000 to wrap the vehicle, right? About $3 grand in tires. Okay, so we're up to $6. $1 grand in fuel to haul the car back and forth. There's $7. All right, we're already halfway through, and we haven't hired anybody to drive the car, build the car, maintain the car, or any employees at the track. So really, that gets you on the track, basically.
So that was that. Then someone this week, possibly Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I'm not sure which one. I didn't get a chance to look up. Oh, excuse me, look up on Twitter. Tweeted to Marcus, why don't you sponsor Sheldon Creed? And Marcus's response was, we tried, he didn't want us.
Right. And people, because this is the big wondering, because Sheldon Creed, defending series champion, can't get a sponsor.
Unsponsored truck.
Yeah.
I think I've also learned as well, too, Sheldon Creed is fine with the blank truck because
he has a PhD.
Daddy's money.
Yeah.
Is
Papa has dough.
The team.
Yeah, that's his sponsor, a PhD sponsorship.
Yes. So instead of leaving it at that, Creed then had to reply to Marcus, saying, something to the effect of, I'm worth more than 15K.
Yeah, because they're looking for top level sponsorship.
Okay, and for me, when I first heard that, I was like, you just had a teammate get fired for not bringing
money, basically,
and you're doing this.
Yeah, right? It was interesting because they say the teammate, being Lassard, was fired because they didn't have sponsorship on the truck. Meanwhile, you look at every sponsor on the truck was Canadian, which clearly Lassard brought to the table.
Yeah,
GMS doesn't even know what area codes are in Canada. They didn't reach out to these Canadian companies.
So, so I was so I'm now on the fence about this because at first I was like, okay, Creed, you're a dick, right? You don't need to come and say that. But then hearing some other people talking, and it's like, okay, there's fault on all sides here because I think Marcus should have just said, back in Vegas, if you're not sponsored, tweet me, I will sponsor you. Boom. Don't put the money number out there because if you want to have a top truck, you're going to need $50,000 to $100,000 worth of sponsorship.
Yeah.
If you want a winning truck.
Bare minimum 50. 75 will get you into the top 5, but you need to basically be shelling out $100K a race to win.
So then teams going to people to sponsor them, I need that $100K. Okay, yeah. Why do you need $100K from me when this guy is giving other people, or you went with this other guy for $15K? Right, so that's where the number thing is wrong. I think Sheldon is wrong for kind of saying what he said. A lot of people are upset about him. I was shocked twice this week. Shocked for people calling in to say how they're against Sheldon for saying that and for kind of acting all better. And I'll go with the other thing that shocked me. We'll talk about that later.
Right. So that gets us into the Xfinity race on Saturday. A rare occasion where the Xfinity race was the same length as the truck race. Don't normally notice those things unless you happen to watch the races back to back. And I'm like, hey, wasn't the last one 147 laps?
And sure. How about throwback of the week, of the weekend? Let's go to Carl Long for bringing the car to the track in an open trailer hauled by a dually.
Yep.
With the toolbox in the back of the dually, and he went and said that, I hope it doesn't rain, because if it does, my crew chief is going to learn how to fix a car with swamp ass.
Yep. Favorite throwback paint scheme for Xfinity? You mentioned mine, which was, the one car of Michael Annette, because they had the 79 Gatorade 88 car with Gatorade sponsorship. That
would be this one.
Yeah. Doug, they always like to throw it in our faces by the broadcaster. Well, isn't it nice that, this company allowed another company's colors, and they changed their logo to fit in with it? No. Let's thank the companies like Gatorade and others that basically came out of retirement as sponsors to sponsor a car.
Okay, let's back the bus up for a second here.
All right.
Gatorade.
Yeah.
Who are they owned by?
Pepsi.
Who does Pepsi sponsor in the past? Hendrick.
Yeah.
Who owns Junior Motorsports?
I understand that. However, they currently don't sponsor any teams.
Oh, no. But there's already...
So they just threw $1 million out there for the hell of it.
Already that,
Yeah. Well, not $1 million. Actually, that would have been about $600,000 sponsorship deal. Yeah. But but when a company comes out of the woodwork like that, I am all for that. And kudos, I think it's a treat for the longtime sponsors in the series, because they get to do the retro, and they can market around it too, because they say, look, we've been sponsoring these guys for 20 plus years. You've been shopping with us for 20 years. There's a reason.
Yeah.
So, getting into that. Trying to think again, kind of first, second verse, same as the first. They saw what the truck guys did, and they were easy. They weren't getting too crazy out there. It got a little crazy at the end again, because people turn off, cinch down that helmet, talked about, cuts off the blood supply.
Yeah.
Harrison Burton was looking to do some stuff near the end there.
How about a throwback to when he got the stage 2 win? Right. Stage 2.
And they show his mom on the pit box.
His mom on the box just losing it.
Yep. Oh yeah. Speaking of which, shout out throwback scheme. Very cool, because it was early days of Jeb Burton with the early MBNA sponsorship car of his dad, and had his dad actually pulled him out of the woods and had him at a race. Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so it came down to that was a veteran move. Allgaier, the veteran driver. And I've always been, let's call it, the passerby fan. I'm not a fan, but I don't dislike Justin Allgaier either. And I really respected him because he was part of, we see the wave of young guys that come up every year or two. He basically washed out at the Xfinity level, we'll call it that. Because although it's not like he ever really went after Cup too much.
No.
Like brief, but he was smart enough. He went, you know what? I got a good thing here with good teams. And he'll say plural, because he's always had a good team in Xfinity. And he didn't bother going up and running for a field filler in the Cup Series.
He's almost become the Elliott Sadler coming back.
Yeah, without the dip up top. He became the Randy LaJoy.
Okay, yes.
In many ways. So yeah, and kudos to him. And the more, I like the guy. I don't dislike. He doesn't do bonehead things. And then when it came down to that last restart, I went, Allgaier's got it, because he's going to know how to take off. He knows the limits of the cars, the tires, he's going to fall back on, a decade of running at Darlington. And guess what? If he had touched that gas pedal a fraction more, he would have washed out, slid up the track, and taken himself out. But he was able to hold that line. He ran the perfect restart to get that lead and hold it.
Yep.
And then karma happened at the last lap, because Austin, Austin Cindric, I always want to call him Tim, got taken right the fuck out in the last lap. Because all of a sudden they're like, why is Cindric just totaled and wrecked on the front stretch?
Well, and you know what? And do you know what? I think for a big weekend like this here, Fox Sports really missed the ball on a lot of on-track happening.
Yep. Oh, yeah, because a lot of people are like, well, it's boring racing. No, you just had nowhere to look. I think that all the races this weekend would have been great in person because then you could watch your own race.
Well, yeah, this was a throwback weekend for the people that don't need to see a wreck every 5 laps.
Exactly. Oh shit! I forgot to do it off the top of the show. Really quick, I'm going to do it out there. Where in the world is Jimmy Johnson? You ask, Doug?
No idea.
He's been the most competitive he has been in weeks in IndyCar.
Nobody.
Because it was an off weekend.
Yeah.
So there we are. So back in
Allgaier wins in the Dale Senior throwback.
Mm-hmm. The Taz car. They really work. They mentioned the design guy that does all the throwbacks, and yeah, he got the font right. The color was really cool to see.
And then the Dash for Cash winner, Mr. Happy Go Lucky, Mr.
AJ Allmendinger.
Well, it was not at the start. Noah Gregson. Then he got punished for being the only junior motorsports car to not have a throwback. And he...
oh, no, they had the original Bass Pro Shops logo on the hood, I think.
Well, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
So they had a...
You know why? No company wanted to work with them, Doug, on a throwback scheme.
Probably. So you can go with what penalty he got because it's just escaped my mind.
So basically what it is the rear suspension mounts.
That's it.
A little trick would be, let's say, like you got your box frame, you got to drill a hole through it to mount bolt, to slide a sleeve in. What you do is you hog out those holes huge, right? Put oversized washers on it. So that idea, it looks like it's a solid connection, but you can actually move that mounting point around within reason, And really, you move that a few thousandths of an inch, it makes a world of difference. So they basically had a whole floating rear suspension system in the car, which has been done. Geez, they've been doing that since the 70s. And they've been caught since the 71s about it, and Junior, of course. Oh, Junior, what do you think, Junior? Junior did the smart. He just retweeted the same tweet he put out the last time they got nailed for something, which is, I expect my engineers and crew chief to push everything to the limits. And I expect NASCAR to strongly enforce their rules. So in other words, we're going to push it to the limit, and we expect NASCAR to catch us if we step over the line.
Well, Junior gets it.
Yeah. Exactly. That's racing. That's the tortoise and the hare. The endless chase. Yeah. So that gets us into the Cup weekend or Cup race. Lots of throwbacks.
And for the people who are always wanting NASCAR to go back to its roots, go back to the way it was before,
there it is.
You got it.
Yep.
And then you all bitched and complained about it Monday morning on NASCAR radio.
That's because Chase Elliott didn't win. Actually, where in the world has Chase Elliott been the last 3 weeks? Everyone, do you know what? They don't mention him by name. The only way I know he's been in a race, Doug, is on the restarts and stuff when they love to do that shot from turn 1 of them coming down the front stretch. I see a Napa logo dip out once in a while. That's it. That's it. I see him getting air. Fortunately for him, because he's got the Hooters as the part-time sponsor, he's automatically that. Hooters basically sponsors his throwbacks.
Yeah.
Which, fine. But your favorite throwback for the Cup, what was yours?
I think, like we talked off here, I like the Corey LaJoie throwback.
Yeah, hands down. As far as I'm concerned, that was the best of the weekend because one, Corey's walking around with one of Alan's actual fire suits on,
Yeah.
Of course, they wouldn't allow them to wear it in the race because they're dicks.
Well, and you know what? I think good on Corey, because all year he's done that. It hasn't been just this weekend.
Yep.
Because they're in Kowicki's old shop.
Yep.
They recreate pictures out front. Yep. It's
so,
a throwback year.
So and with that car, because he had the same original number, the 7, they were able to pull out Xerox, who has not been a primary sponsor on a car. I'm going to say anywhere from 8 to 12 years because they used to do a couple one-offs a year. So Xerox, which I believe is a division of Valvoline now, they were okay with it because they said, we want to do the Xerox theme. And they said, well, screw it. We'll sponsor you too. Down to, they even had all the contingency decals on the fenders, which kudos to NASCAR, I noticed. Did you know all their 3 or 4 contingencies they do now, they're all retro automatically, which is really cool. But the fact they had that front fender just plastered with the contingencies on there was really cool. And there was guys that were running, like a throwback scheme of one driver, a throwback helmet of somebody else. They're really getting on board with that. It was really cool. Oh, and I forgot to mention from the Xfinity race, Gray Golding with the throwback Krispy Kreme sponsored helmet back from when he was a child racer for Krispy Kreme, as far as we could tell. Although it was probably just one of his helmets. He just pulled it off the shelf. So
yeah.
But yeah. So they dropped the green, and I don't know, the usual suspects were kind of mixing it up to a point, but not really.
Yeah.
Ryan Blaney, who was one of your picks, he had issues early.
How about having issues early?
I don't know. I only got to lap, I don't know. Well, put it this way. I think it was maybe lap 70 when they were doing pit stops under caution, and they showed the 8 car, which I loved. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, I know that pink and yellow paint scheme. Where do I know that from? Marty Robbins throwback. The Cotton Owens car with Marty Robbins as the driver. That was awesome to see. And then after that, what happened, Doug? I don't know.
Well, how about the first caution? Eric Almirola, a couple laps in, just hammers that inside wall.
Well, I got a still shot of the car because my recording was screwing up before I even got to that point.
So Ricky Stenhouse,
you dink.
Ricky Stenhouse, with the last time they were there, he took himself out a couple laps early, so he decided, I'm going to take somebody else out at the same time. So he put the bumper to Eric. Eric went the inside wall, hammered the front end.
I figured he hit hard because I got the audio enough that all I heard was, I've never seen a splitter thrown into the front tires before. And I went, ooh, that sounds
bad. His front tires were jacked off the ground. Like, he wasn't...
Yeah.
Like, when he was trying to get back to pit road, he had no front wheels touching.
Right.
And then a little while later, Cole Custer was like, hey, I can do that too. He did the same thing. Car looked exactly the same. Front tires up. Just, yeah.
That's part of the chassis design, obviously.
Yep. Yeah. So about halfway through stage 1, somebody decided, was like, it's done. This race is over. I'm going to stink up this show.
Right.
And we have
after that would have been just, because there was a caution. Well, unfortunately, Kyle Busch's one tire decided to go one lap less than the competition caution report.
And that's right when Truex decided to take over, and we've seen him do that before.
Yeah.
And
when he's on, he dominates.
Oh yeah, and and he said he didn't touch the wall until the last 7 laps.
Yeah.
The right rear quarter panel. That's how he got turned in turn 4, was given that little scrape on the wall. But he dominated again. Like I said, people who want the throwback racing, he had a 15-second lead. If it wasn't for stage racing,
he might have lapped the field.
He probably would have lapped the field.
Nice.
You've got 9 cars finish on the lead lap.
Perfect. It should be at Darlington with the fall off.
There's your throwback. And they're like, Truex, he went and he it was a boring race because he dominated the race and no one could catch him. And as a couple of people I've heard talking about it say, that's what you're supposed to do. That's what a race is. Let me get out front as far as I can and win the race.
There we are.
You know,
so Martin Truex
move of the race. I'm not sure if I sent it to you. I'm not sure if you actually watched it.
I see that move every week, Doug. I didn't think it was the move of the race.
Well, between Tyler Reddick and Ryan Newman.
Well, there is that. Yeah, that factor. Because I'm like, I saw the move, right? And I was just like, do you not watch Kyle Busch in a truck race? Because that's the first 15 laps.
Yeah.
Him doing that every corner, right? Because he goes from like 32nd to 5th in 3 laps. And even the broadcast, what? Weren't we going to do a Kyle Busch report? Well, too late. We missed it. He's there.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. But yeah, it was good. I don't know if there was any news this. Well, I suppose we should talk about the news. They unveiled the next gen car last week.
Yeah.
Our thoughts, because I have.
I am gonna have some thoughts. Same as Brett Griffin has said, that excited for the new car.
Mm-hmm.
New car is going to be awesome, but it's putting a lot of people out of work.
That's my bone to pick. Oh,
your body hangers, your chassis builders.
Well, you should mention the reason they're saying is because no longer will you be fabricating your cars. You're getting body panels prefabricated that you assemble the car. So it's a kit car. I didn't hear where these bodies are coming from, because if they're not coming from the manufacturers, I'm calling bullshit right now, because no one company should have the monopoly on supplying the bodies. We saw that happen in what's now the Pinty series. It was Kim Wallace, who owned Peterborough Speedway at the time and owned Five Star Bodies, which is the fiberglass body company that supplied the bodies series, which I thought was a joke. That's hinky as hell. You know, you don't see Roger Penske out there driving in the race, and he supplies cars and owns the track, and so so you're going to lose a lot of fabricator and engineer positions as a result, which are some of the higher paid positions in the shop. So yeah, honestly, terrible news. They're gutting thousands of jobs overnight.
Yep.
So way to go, NASCAR. And somebody, I talked about it last week on Twitter. I voiced my concern, and the guy said, so by your logic, then the IndyCar series is a joke. And I said, yeah, the IndyCar series has been a joke since the split in the 90s, when the IRL had 2 engines and 1 chassis. Fast forward 25 years, they have 2 engines, 1 chassis. Every time they develop a new generation car, they're like, oh, there's going to be a Dallara and this company, or Dallara and G-Force, Dallara and... No, every single time the other company bails at the last minute, and you get stuck. Everyone's got the same cars. Everybody except for Andretti Autosport has the same rims. And I bet you Andretti's now dropped, because they were the only ones using the old Oz rims. I think they're getting rid of them because they were getting all their tires, air stems out of the tires ripped out at the last race at St. Pete's. No other cars. They're the only ones that can't bang wheels because the nipple there sticks out. So hey, Sess.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's becoming a joke more and more. It's like we've got crate engines in the truck series. So there goes that. What's next? We basically have crate engines. You know what? Fuck it. We've had crate engines in the Cup series for the last 15 years. Mm-hmm. You're not allowed to build a Ford motor unless it comes from Roush, basically. You got to get a Chevy from Childress or Hendrick, and you got to get a Toyota from Gibbs.
Yeah. Just talking with you, it's reminding me of one more thing from the Cup series, from the Cup race broadcast. They kept going back to it. The last time they ran on Mother's Day, on the Sunday.
Yeah.
2007, Jeff Gordon won. Okay, and how great that was. How he overcame. Well, if you would have seen the video of the stands, there was the one stand that had like the big red on the side. Sure. I was just to the side of that, right at the exit of turn 4. Happened to be the Dodge Avenger 500. And as soon as Jeff started to spray water and his engine started to go, you're thinking, okay, this is going to be it for if he has to stop, it's going to be it for him. Well, myself and about a few other 1,000 or so fans could see a big, probably about 2 foot long piece of metal that was just I'm going to say half a foot below the low groove.
Sure.
That NASCAR let sit there. Like we were hauling, there was an official standing like 5 feet from it. But he didn't see it. And we were like when you have like 10,000 people hollering at you, pointing, and you don't want to look at something was up that day.
Yep, it happens. Hey, I saw Jeff Gordon soak his tires and win a race at Michigan. So there's that. Everyone else gets 4 tires. Jeff gets 2. Green, white, checkered. He pulls out half a lap on the field. Really?
Mm-hmm.
And I saw Chad Knaus walk around with a laptop that day.
Oh, and I haven't got a chance to see it, but someone I know on Twitter.
A young Chad Knaus with a full head of hair because it was 1996.
I was going to say, someone does have it on Twitter. I've got to try and look for it. They showed a picture of Truex after the burnout.
Yeah.
On Sunday. And then they showed his last 6 victories after the burnout.
Oh, and a bit, slight bone of contention. Your favorite driver there, Mr. Truex. A little bit of an ego this weekend.
Hey, 3-time winner.
Hey, who does a train? You know what? I'm going to do a throwback to when I won the championship 3 fucking years ago. That's what I'm talking about, ego. You know who we're going to throw it back to? This guy right here.
No.
How far back do you want to go, Martin? Do you want to do a short track?
He said in the interview with Regan, he said it was a throwback to Regan.
Well, of course he did, because he's trying to cover his ass. He could have thrown back to his short track days. Busch North. He could have done one of his, Busch Series, championship. DEI could have done that.
Yeah.
MWR could have done that even.
No.
What throwback? 3 fucking years. That's not a throwback. That's like what was it last year? Brad Keselowski with the throwback discount. Your normal paint job there, Brad.
Yeah, So anyway, the guys.
Same as Austin Cindric with it. He just went with the pink paint scheme. I was like, that's not that throwback to last year, Austin. What the fuck?
So Truex, the picture of his after the burnout, the way the car looked, the way the tires were down, what was any little damage off the car. This guy's also got the pictures from the last 5 or 6 races that he's won after the burnout. Cars look exactly the same.
Nice.
Exactly the same.
Nice. Well, any other news or notes to go over?
Paul Wolfe will not be on the pit box for Joey Logano next week.
That's right. Suspended.
3 lug nuts, which next year there will be no lug nut suspensions.
Nope.
Because if there is, you've got a big problem.
That's on you. That's on you. That's the way
you'll be missing a whole lot more than a lug nut.
You know what? I always had a real issue because you can run 1 lug nut the whole race, and then at the last stop, I got to put 5 on. You know what? If you can bring her home with 4 lug nuts combined for all 4 wheels and bring her home in one piece, you deserve whatever finish spot you get.
Well, they'll be having that next year.
Yeah, but they say, well, it's because years past, tires coming off, getting up in the stands. You know what? Let's just put a cage right over the track and say, screw it. Fuck the restrictor plates. We'll just cage them all in, and we'll just fly fucking drones around inside for the coverage, so we're not looking through a cage for the cameras. Works for me. Let them go. Have at it. Boys have at it, or whatever they were saying. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So, on that, not much else. We're going to Dover this weekend. Who's your pick at Dover?
Do I need to say?
Same race as the last race as the last race.
One of his 18 home tracks that he has. There will not be a 3-time winner. There will be a 4-time winner this week.
I'm gonna go with. You know what? Just gonna throw it out there. Chase Elliott's due for a good run. Unfortunately, he may do it this weekend at Dover, but I'm thinking Ryan Newman.
Well, yeah, and hey, how about let's go back to the race? How about shout out to Roush Fenway? 2 cars in the top 10.
Nice. Yeah, they are the RCR this year.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you're not supposed to be that competitive. They're like, hey, Jack finally freed up some money or something. I don't know. He figured he finally realized he can't take it with him in life.
Well, I was just going to ask you a question, but I guess you just answered it, saying you're going to have Chase Elliott win, because the 3 drivers that had all the wins last year, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, Harvick, 0 wins.
Yep.
The other thing
by the way,
is...
tune in this week to see, hopefully, Kyle Busch lead his 18,000th lap, because he's currently at 17,999 until the right rear went, you ain't getting 18,000 today, Bubbaloo.
Yeah.
Clint was heartbroken over that one.
The Truex win. The Truex win was 190 for Joe Gibbs.
Wow. That's obviously across all series, isn't it? Well, maybe not.
Yes.
Is it? Yeah.
I don't know.
Then again, I don't know, because you figure Denny's whipped off a few 7 or 8.
Well, no, it is just a cup, because they said, will they get it this year?
Yeah, because Kyle Busch, Christ, look,
yeah.
Did he win for Hendrick in the Cup Series?
Yeah.
If he did, he might have won a handful of races in the Cup Series.
He won the first COT race at Bristol. I know that.
Yeah, because then he called the cars a piece of shit.
Yeah.
What do you think of the new car? It's a piece of shit, but I still drove her to the victory lane.
Yeah. So do you think Joe Gibbs gets win 200 this year?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think they can.
Will they win 10 races? Will they, as a whole, win 10 races?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Pretty sure. I think all like the 3 main drivers, they're all capable of 3 apiece, and Christopher Bell's already won once, and I'm not going to count him out, either, because Bell, he's like that, Eric Almirola, but with luck, where he all of a sudden does show up front, and he stays up front and doesn't get taken out or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. If not, it's going to be very early next year, within the first 10 races of next year type thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So on that, enjoy Dover this weekend, folks. I don't know who's running the support races. Doesn't matter. It's Dover.
Trucks.
Yeah, because I think they only do 2 races. Like, they don't have all 3 there.
They've sold out the amount of seats they can use at Dover as well.
Nice. Well, there we are. I think, anything else? No, I think we're good on that. So maybe we'll see some more throwbacks, only because guys are too cheap to rewrap their cars.
Yeah.
And I kind of like the blue. I like the blue line or the blue streak Goodyears over just the white letters from the 80s. Like, yeah, let's throw it right back. I'm just waiting for Firestone to go, hold my beer.
Yeah.
And they show up with some Firestones. That'd be cool. IndyCar, think about it.
Yeah.
Just an idea. So there we go. On behalf of Doug, I'm Ben. This has been NasCanucks, presented by Vibraprint. For all your custom printing solutions, visit them at vibraprintonline.com. And dang it, never have that video queued at the end.
See you, Marcus.
Where is it then?